Yo, it's your homeboy Kiiro in the building. Welcome to episode 122 of One Piece Gist. In this episode, I'll be reviewing One Piece chapter 780. As usual, we'll have a summary of the chapter, an actual review. Afterwards, we'll have, and that's going to be spoiler free. Afterwards, we're going to have a more in depth discussion of what happened in the chapter, and that will contain spoilers. So let's start the review. This was a good chapter, top two chapters this year. There was some action in it, no comedy whatsoever, but it's still a really good chapter nonetheless. And we get a few tiny reveals and some nice information up and down. But yeah, just a really solid chapter, really nice. And I enjoyed reading it from the beginning till the end. Just really good. Keep it up, Order. And that's pretty much my review of the chapter. Really good chapter. So now let's start the actual discussion of the chapter, which includes spoilers. So we'll start with the cover story. We see that the ruins are underwater, blah blah blah. Yeah, it was like whatever. I was more interested in the whole poneglyph thing, but I'm not sure what's gonna happen concerning this Jinbei cover story. But the main point is this week's addition, or this week's addition to the cover story. It's lacking. I really didn't care for it. So let's move on to the chapter itself. The chapter begins with, well, you know my style. I don't like repeating, what happened in the chapter because you guys have read it. I don't want to insult your intelligence, but just for the sake of narration, or just so they can understand where I'm coming from, I'll sort of paint a bit of a picture. So first off, we'll start with the flashback. So we get a flashback that shows us how Law supposedly died, because last chapter Doflamingo said that Law's lifeless corpse, and so we see all the off-screen events that we didn't get last chapter. We get them in this chapter, and the notable things I would say are, first of all, Treble is back. He is reassembled, so the radio knife has stopped working on him. The second thing is that Doflamingo, he started panting. He started breathing really heavily after his whole interaction with Law and Corazon. So there's something about the heart and about Corazon and about Law that's really pissing him off that we haven't really pinpointed yet. And I think we're going to get that in the next one or two chapters, hopefully. I'm not quite sure. It could take longer, but I think that's going to be expanded on, basically, and we'll see exactly what's really getting on Doflamingo's nerve and what he means by the heart curse. We also see once again, for one final time, potentially, assuming Law is dead, that Law has faith in the Straw Hats. This is what made Law save Luffy at Marineford. He really doesn't care about other supernovas. Law really, he just doesn't, he doesn't give a fuck. That's the kind of character he is. But he believes that the Straw Hats are miracle workers, like, and you can't really blame him. If you look at their feats, you look at their track record, they've overcome the odds time and time again. And he believes that with their help, he'll overcome the odds of beating Doflamingo, and that's why he's formed this whole alliance and all that kind of stuff. Now, things haven't gone exactly according to his plan, but nonetheless, he believes that they are miracle workers, and till his dying quote unquote breath, I'll keep putting it in quotes because Law's death is something I'll try and expand upon later. But in any case, it's just nice to see, or interesting at the very least, to see that Law has so much faith in the Straw Hats. Not just Luffy, but, his entire crew, because it's, all the Straw Hats have really done crazy stuff. Of course, Luffy being the captain, he's going to have most of the spotlight. He has the biggest bounty. He has the biggest reputation. But all the Straw Hats, in their own ways, they've all done some really remarkable things, except maybe Brooke and Frankie, because, they're like the last two to join, so except maybe them, but for the most part, I think it's safe to say that they are very remarkable. And this was really nice to see. So now moving forward to present time, I'm just gonna jump straight into the fight. I'll ignore the other stuff. Okay, well, one thing is we didn't really get any update on the whole Sabo situation, but that's something that wasn't in this chapter rather than something that was. So I'm not gonna go too in depth on that. But yeah, let's fast forward to the fight. Luffy versus Doflamingo has commenced, but I will say something. This is a transition chapter. People don't realize that, or at least some people might not. he just finished beating Bellamy last chapter. He's not gonna. I mean, the Doflamingo versus Luffy fight isn't gonna happen in one chapter. So there is still a lot of stuff we haven't seen from Luffy, and most likely there's still a lot of stuff we haven't seen from Doflamingo and Treble. And this is really interesting because Luffy has pretty much used every single Gomu Gomu technique we can think of, which means he's gonna pop, Gear Fourth or the Willardy or King's Haki really soon in the next, in the next 2 chapters. So it's either gonna be the next chapter or the chapter after that, and that's my prediction. But anyways, let's concentrate on the feats. So first off, we see, Doflamingo casually, and I emphasize casually, with one hand he stops Luffy's Gigant pistol with no effort whatsoever, and this is impressive to me because I honestly didn't think, like, when I say that Doflamingo is stronger than Luffy, and that Doflamingo isn't losing to Luffy solo, this really wasn't what I had in mind. But I'm gonna expand more on that in my Doflamingo versus Luffy video. I'll do that either as the next video or the video after that, because there's a bunch of stuff that this chapter really brings out that I want to make videos about. But in any case, this was a feat that caught me by surprise. I did not think Doflamingo was capable of doing that, stopping one of Luffy's strongest attacks so casually. And another thing is the spider web stayed intact. It wasn't bending or tearing or nothing. He just blocked it like it was straight up a wall. So that was impressive. And as Unexpected Wonder likes to say, you may or may not know him, he likes to emphasize on Luffy being a fighting genius, and Luffy Luffy lives up to Unexpected Wonder's word in this chapter, as we see him, he makes the best out of the situation. He sees that his punch doesn't do much to the spider's web, and so he stretches an arm, goes through the space in between the spider's web, hakis up both arms, boom, boom, red hug Gatling. That was fresh as fuck. That was badass. And Doflamingo manages to escape. Like, we didn't, I at least didn't really catch how he escaped. I guess we might see that in anime. Maybe it's going to be expanded on better in the anime. But in any case, he escapes in some way or some form. And then he hits Luffy back with his own attack, but Luffy dodges it, thankfully, because I don't think Luffy would have survived that junk. And we've seen the destructive capacity of overheat, which is basically a shit ton of strings, together to form like one big ass string. And he did something similar, but it was more like a sort of spiral of strings. It was just a really crazy attack with a lot of destructive capability. I think that would have just turned Luffy to dust. That's a really scary attack. But yeah, Doflamingo's really pulling out them techniques. But for the most part, I would say, even though these techniques are impressive, none of these are really the stuff that make me say Doflamingo is stronger than Luffy, or that he's beating Luffy. And I'll get more in depth on that in my Doflamingo versus Luffy video, which, like I said, I'll do that either next. So that's going to be episode 123 or episode 124. So yeah, that's basically the fight in a nutshell. Treble didn't really make any contribution. But Treble is something really interesting, and again, I'm saving all this juice for my Doflamingo versus Luffy video, because it deserves a standalone video, because there's so much to talk about, and I don't make this fucking 5 hours long or something. So that's basically what's gonna happen. So yeah, that's the fight kind of wrapped up. Bellamy, we get some confirmation that he is most likely dead. We would have gotten some confirmation that Law is dead, but we get some Star Wars shit at the end of this chapter. And as Luffy is close, Luffy's right next to Law's corpse. The very last panel, he starts hearing Law's voice. Now this shouldn't be possible because Law is dead. So I'm really curious to see Oda's explanation on this. Could this be a Will of D thing? Possible. People are saying, specifically. Well, I'm not going to mention his name because you might not know him, or he might not want me to mention his name in the video. I'm not going to do it without consent, but this one dude thinks that it's similar to Goldie Rogers' ability to hear the voice of all things, which I think it's a fair theory. It's not complete garbage, but at the same time, it's not too compelling, because he's a corpse, so you can't really hear a corpse voice. Like, if he's dead and gone to heaven, then he should stay in heaven. It shouldn't be right beside him his corpse. If you're going to hell, you should go to hell. You shouldn't stay, beside his corpse. So I don't think that's really the explanation. I think Law has pulled the trick. He's pulled the wool over Doflamingo's eyes, and he's pulled something. Maybe this is maybe there's a connection between this and injection shot. Maybe Law is immortal. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but I'm really interested to see. And here's the thing, right? Even without this, just based on just the fact that we have a fight, that alone makes you want to see the next chapter. And just the cherry on top of the really beautiful cake, or that adds this really crazy cliffhanger. So once again, fantastic chapter of One Piece. Thank you, Oda. I do apologize to all my loyal subs for putting out such lazy videos with, like, they're really lacking all the visuals and all that kind of stuff. But the thing is, it's really hard for me to get visuals unless it's a topic that's sort of backdated, because then it's easier for me to get corresponding anime pictures and shit like that. It's also much faster and much convenient for me because I have been hella busy. Um, I also want to apologize for episode 120. Some people might be waiting for that, but all I can say is, just be patient. And since I'm pumping out so many videos, or at least I plan on doing so, that's probably going to build some momentum, which I can then sort of channel into getting episode 120 out once and for all. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for chilling all the way to the end. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And as always, thank you guys for watching.